Whoops. And hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle from A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. So, we've been at this for a while, but I understand you might be new to the game. So, let me tell you what this show is about. This is a web series that is about real talk, real situations, real life. So we like to talk about those things that people don't like to talk about. It's in the back of your mind. But yeah, it's in the back of your mind. But we like to bring those things to the front of your mind. And this, we are live right now. So if you're watching this live, welcome. And if you're watching this on the replay, welcome anyway. So, this is the show where we like to talk real talk. We tend to focus on, certain topics. We like to talk about things in education, physical health, mental health, employment. But we're really open to any topic and we like to look at it from an educational lens, an informational lens. So, we are a tutoring company, so you can look at this as a tutoring moment, an educational moment. So we are here to educate you today. And today I am totally looking forward to this topic. The topic for today is your child has autism. Now what? So the purpose of this episode is to discuss the the aftermath of finding out that your child has autism. So, we're not going to focus so much on identifying the signs of autism. We're going to focus more on after the diagnosis, after the discovery, after the the neuropsychologist hands you that paper and says your child has autism. So we're going to talk about what to do after you receive the official diagnosis of autism or after your child has received the official diagnosis. And I have a guest with me who's going to help me out. Her name is Betsy Muncey. I hope I'm saying her name right. You may have seen her name in the description as Elizabeth Muncey. That's her full name, but she asked us to refer to her as Betsy. So Betsy is here with us, and I look forward to talking with her. And she's going to give us some tips on what to do after you receive that diagnosis or after your child has received that diagnosis. We're going to break it down into a few subtopics, and we hope that you are able to take from it today. So, mm, excuse me. So let's jump right into it. I put her full name in parentheses, but let's jump right into it. So let me tell you about our guest today, who is Betsy Muncey, or you may see her name as Elizabeth. So let me tell you who she is. Her name is Betsy. She's a mom of 4 kids in their early 20s. That's 2 boys and 2 girls. She is a current registered nurse working in the hospice field, and she's a former high school special education teacher with a master's degree in special education. She's the author of The Autism Daily Brew, Autism Resources at Your Fingertips. She helps parents who have a child with a new autism diagnosis design an amazing foundation and starter plan for their child. Parents need and deserve a quick, easy way to access the first steps for a new autism diagnosis. She wants to help you and your child succeed. That is fabulous. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Betsy to the stage right now.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So, let's get started. So, we're going to talk about what to do when you receive that diagnosis for the first time or when your child has received that diagnosis of autism. And we're going to break it down into a few subtopics. So, um, I look forward to this conversation. So let's get right into it. So the
Yeah,
first subtopic I would like you to discuss is self-care. So let me get my little banner here, and I'm gonna have you jump right into it. So please talk about um, what parents can do to um, to take care of themselves after
sure.
receiving the diagnosis.
Okay. Thank you. Well, one of the first five things that we tell parents to do, and we're going to circle around back to this, is to have a Medicaid waiver. And one of the things that you get with a Medicaid waiver is respite hours. So let me tell you what respite is and why you want that. Respite means that we're going to give the primary caretakers a break from caretaking. Okay. Um, as far as time, it could be a day, it could be part of a day, it could be several days. And one of the worries parents have is leaving their children with somebody. But there are certified respite caregivers out there. They can come to the home, or there are places that you can take your kids. And like I said, it could be a day away or it could be a couple of days away. And it's really your choice and how you want to use that time that you're given. And when I say you're given the time, it means it's paid for. Um, and just being a parent's hard. Okay. So I have 4 kids, and being a mom, it's tough work. And nobody does it. Nobody parents the way you do. But you're going to feel so much better when you take a mental and physical break and replenish yourself in some small way or a big way. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things as far as respite and self-care, just some ideas. And these are my ideas, and it may look totally different for you, and that's completely okay. So here's a list I made of just ways that I would want to spend a day, just all to myself if I can. The first one is make a weekly coffee date with a friend. That's not something that has to take a long time. It could be Starbucks, it could be going out for coffee or tea or whatever it is you like, just for some downtime. The second way, the second one I have is like a 2 to 3 day local hotel getaway. Okay, so if you want to just try something close, but you're still getting away, you could try a local hotel. Take 1 to 2 days and just relax and watch TV or use the pool or just lounge around. And you're still close by if your child needs you. And that's a way you could use your respite time. There's a lot of wine and painting classes out there. I mean, you don't have to do wine, or you could do whatever you want. And just grab a girlfriend once a month and go have fun, have some girl time, do some painting. You don't have to be good at it either. Okay, that's the thing. I mean, go and just enjoy it. And you don't even have to be good at it. Just have fun with your friends. Have fun getting away for a couple of hours. Scrapbooking, I think, is still popular. I haven't scrapbooked in a long time because when one of my kids was little, the other one cut off my daughter's curls with the scrapbooking scissors, and I decided that was enough of that. I'm not sure I've done a lot of scrapbooking since then, but I still know it's a big thing. So that's a fun thing you could do with your friends. How about get a massage? That feels good. And that gets a lot of that muscle tension out and helps you really relax. Or what about go out on a walk? I love to walk. It's Indiana. I'm in Indiana, and it's really cold here right at the moment and a lot of snow. So I don't like to go outside, but I do go to Planet Fitness, and they have really good prices. So I like that. You could go out and find local music or local talents, grab a friend and go listen to some music and just have a quiet night of music. And here's a good one. Have a caregiver come and you can take a nap. You can take a nap, you can catch up on stuff you're behind on, and it's still your time, and maybe you're just doing it in your own home, but you still get a nap, you still get to do some things, and someone else is doing the caretaking for a little bit. So those are my ideas for the respite.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I'll take that off. All right. I think you spoke about a little bit, but can you jump into the activities or what things that parents can do now that that they now that they know their child has autism? What can they do in terms of engagement, in terms of helping them learn things like that?
Absolutely. The activities that I put down, I decided to go ahead and include some fun activities, and I have some other different ideas at the other part of the show. So I put some fun ideas down that maybe parents don't always think of, and there's much more than I'm even going to talk about. So the first one is activities that are specifically designed for kids with autism, and they have specific programs. There's a surfers camp, and in fact I found four of them, and they're in different parts of the country. And I just thought, how fun is that you can take your kids, and it's specifically designed for kids with autism. So that's one thing. Another program that's out there for kids, it's good for their muscles, muscle memory. It's good for just fun and for connecting, is Equine Therapy, which is riding horses. And it's a whole therapy program. I have just two written down. It's super easy to find these programs, though, if you know to go look for them. And it's been proven that the therapy with the horses is really effective for kids and helping them connect with their emotions. Another fun activity is a lot of amusement parks. I know the one close to us in Sandusky does this, and there's many of them. Amusement parks have specific sensory days, and they also have specific sensory areas. And you can check in at the gate. In fact, before you even get to the gate, you can just go online and look at what their amusement park offers, such as one of the ones I wrote down is Sesame Place. And then you check in the front desk and you get a sensory pack, and they have certain times and days that they offer a lower impact for kids who need that, so they can still enjoy the parks. A lot of the parks offer like a pass where the kid and the family do not have to wait in the line. They can go over to a specific section, sit alone, and just have some quiet. And when it's their turn, they get on the ride. That's really nice. A couple of the places that I wrote down are Discovery Cove, which is in Florida, Legoland, and Morgan's Wonderland. And I know there's a lot more than that. And people and businesses are becoming much more autism aware, as far as just offering times and places and situations that kids with autism can really feel good about. Then another activity I have listed is sports. Under Autism Spectrum Athletics, it's a whole group. is a group of different sports offered for kids with autism. They have soccer, they have basketball, t-ball, bowling, flag football, and they modify it just a little bit so that it's friendly for kids who have autism. And it works for them. And I really highly recommend trying any of these programs with your kids and just see if they might have some interest. And I understand too that transition is hard, that trying something new when they haven't tried it before, it can be really hard. But maybe if you just try one thing, just pick one thing and let them watch for a little bit. And then when they've watched and they've gotten a little more comfortable with it, let them try it. Just one thing at a time, and just slow and steady. Let them try and get used to something, like pick equine therapy and let them watch the horses for a little bit. And there's trained therapists that will be in these programs, and they will also help you with it so that you and your child can both be successful. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Oh, was there more you're
Okay,
going to
so
add?
I'm ready to just go to even just talking about what it means to get a diagnosis.
Sure. Well, so I'm going to put that for after. If
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
now talk about, let me take the banner off. If you can now talk about, and then you may have touched on it earlier, like the specific resources that that parents can use. I know you talked about respite. Um, if you can talk more about the resources. So, are there places parents can go? Are there special services that they can get from schools? Are
Okay.
there special privileges that they can have access to? Let me put that banner up and things like that. Woo, sorry. Okay, there we go.
So I have uh, kind of a free booklet, and it's the first 5 things I think every parent should do if your child has a new autism diagnosis. I just think they're baseline, kind of foundational resources that are out there. And sometimes you know about them, and honestly, sometimes you really don't. So I'm just going to go through those 5 resources that I think every parent should have for their child. The first one is apply for early intervention services. Okay, so from 0 to 3 years, you're going to apply for early intervention. So let's say you start, as a parent, you start to notice between 18 months and 2 years that your child's displaying some symptoms of autism. Maybe you even get a diagnosis of autism by the first 2 years. You might also notice before you get a diagnosis that maybe your child's regressing. They had certain skills before, they had some language skills, they had some social skills, and now they're kind of going backwards and you don't understand it. That can happen as well. And so we really encourage parents, early is the best. Early is the very best. Go and sign up for early intervention as soon as you believe your child might need it. The brain is still forming, okay, especially when you're younger. Think of like Play-Doh almost. And it's much more pliable, and your brain changes a lot and can learn a lot when you're little. And the more you start earlier, the more progress you're going to get. You're going to have maximum progress for your child. So the good news is you can request a free evaluation, and I have it on here. Okay. So you can apply you can put in to your browser autism early evaluation. It is a free evaluation that is given to your child, okay? And then they can qualify for services. Let's see. After they qualify, then they will start receiving free services up to 3 years. Okay. The second thing that I want to make sure people do, and maybe you've done this or maybe you haven't, is to apply for a Medicaid waiver. So the important thing about this, if you have a child who's been diagnosed, I want you to apply for it now, because the waiting time on a waiver, there's almost always a waiting time. It can be between months. It can start as months of waiting to years, and it really depends a lot on the state you're in. So I want you to apply right away. And some of the services you get when your child's accepted with an autism diagnosis are, like I had told you before, the respite, you can get music therapy, recreational therapy, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, and other things. Those are just some of the things that you can get for free with the Medicaid waiver. Super important. And then, of course, like we talked about, the respite hours, so that you can have caregiver time away. Super important. So this one is really, I want you to just think, apply for the Medicaid waiver quickly. And if you look in your browser at the, it's called BDDS Office, BEADS. Every state has one, and you can apply right through that link. Okay, so the third thing, super important for every parent to get for their child, is an individualized education plan. And we call it an IEP, okay? And it's for kids 3 and older. So about preschool, once they really get into preschool and on up, I really want you to get an IEP, okay? And I think sometimes parents get worried or they get scared that, like, well, my child will get labeled. And that's not what an IEP is for, okay? It's not what an IEP is for. An IEP is a door that opens to help us give specific services to your child based on a diagnosis, okay, with autism. And a whole team will meet a couple of times a year and talk specifically about how to best help your child succeed in school each year. Super important. Don't pass that up, okay? Number 4, I want you to find a developmental pediatrician. There's nothing wrong with a pediatrician. They're great. Okay. They have a lot of training and they do a good job. When you have a child who has some type of special needs, such as autism, a developmental pediatrician specializes in all the developmental milestones. Okay. And also some of the behavior issues. If you're having behavior issues with your child, he or she can help you through those, can help you with different ideas and ways to meet those challenges. Okay. So you can keep a pediatrician on your team. I always talk about keeping a team of people to work with that you love, and specialists to work with your child. And you're definitely going to want to have a developmental pediatrician. And I do want to just say one thing here is, if ever somebody on your team, whatever doctor it is, if they just don't seem to be working for you, if you feel like it's not a good fit for you and your child, if they don't approach your child very well or seem to connect well, it's okay to get somebody else. Okay. I like to tell people you're the CEO in charge of your child's health care. And, you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to say anything mean or whatever. But it's okay to move on. It's okay to just move to somebody else who is a good fit. And that's really important. I can tell you from being a nurse, that doctors come in all types, all personalities. And if their personality is not matching with yours, if you feel like maybe you're being talked down to, or maybe they just can't hear what you're trying to tell them, that's probably not a good fit. And as a mom, you know your child the best as a mom. You need the doctor for the medical perspective. So always keep in mind you have choices when it comes to healthcare and who you choose to be on your child's team. And number 5 that I really like to tell parents, we've talked about occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists, recreational, pediatricians, and your child will likely be seeing a lot of different people. So start a behavior notebook. Start a behavior notebook. And let's say one of your child's, I wrote a few down here. Okay. Let's say that your child has some stimming issues. Okay. Stemming. And maybe they flap their hands, or maybe they like to spin in circles. Okay. Well, that's fine. So you're going to take out your behavior notebook and write down what the behavior is, what time did it start and on what day, and how long did it last. And you can do this with eating issues. You can do it with, if your child has trouble wearing certain kinds of clothes, lining objects up, strict routines that they don't want to break. And if they break the routine, they have a meltdown. That transitions. And write all those things down as they happen. Because when you take your behavior notebook to the different therapies or to the physicians, you can show them, hey, this is when this happens. This is how long it lasts. And this is when it starts again. And it's really important because you might be able to start picking out like patterns, and you might see reasons or triggers why a behavior starts. And then maybe your therapy, they can help you start to figure out how to modify your environment or modifications you can make for your child to make it better. Okay. So you want to make things as easy as you can. And I know just from taking my own kids to the doctor, I think I know what I'm going to talk about when I get there. I forget. Or I talk about 2 of the things and then I don't talk about something else that I thought was really important. So I just highly recommend the journal because it's all there. All the behaviors or all the things of concern to you are written down. How long, what day it's happening, what day it happens next. And that's really, really good information for your team to have so that they can start to look at these behaviors and come up with answers, come up with ways to modify the environment for your child to make things better. And that's what we want to do.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that. So now you wanted to talk about what was it? I think you wanted to talk about the signs.
I wanted to just give a little overall kind of pep talk almost about what a diagnosis is, because having kids is real sensitive, and I get it. I was a teacher. I've got kids of my own. And one thing we really don't like to do is put labels on kids. Okay. I get it. I 100% understand that. And I fully support that we do not put kids in boxes and, expect that they're all going to behave the same way. I get it and I love it. So here's why a diagnosis is important, though. Okay. Not labeling a child, but diagnosing them and allowing them to be in special education, allowing them to get services, is that a diagnosis is not who your child is. Okay. Nothing has changed between the moment they were diagnosed and all the days before. They're not a different child. They're the very same child. Okay. A diagnosis serves a specific purpose, which is to define your child's group of symptoms, whatever they are for your kid, and allow him to get help under that category. Okay. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And just having been in the education system long enough, you have to have a diagnosis of autism to get an IEP and to get the special help, the special classes that you need. Again, I fully understand not wanting to label a child, but let's look at it as, here's what the diagnosis is, which is simply just a set of symptoms. Okay. A set of symptoms my child has that, and now this is going to allow him to get services. It opens up doors. Knowing the why of a situation allows your child to get the help he needs to move forward. He does not have to be defined by a diagnosis. He does not have to be the kid with autism. We don't ever have to call him that. Okay. He has a name, and it's not the kid with autism. So think of this stage as a way for doors to open for your child to get therapy and specialized education and services that he could just not qualify for if we didn't have a diagnosis to work with. Okay, so I feel your parent hearts out there, and it's hard because these are our sweet little kids. Okay, these are our sweet little kids, and we don't want to hang stuff around their neck and have them labeled. Absolutely not. But we do want to get them help, the best help we can give them, to give them the best chance to grow. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So, if I heard you right, it's not to look, we don't want parents to look at the diagnosis as a label. We want parents to look at it as a tool to
Yes.
understand the way your child is thinking, to look at your child um, as a one that needs a different approach to how they communicate with people, how they receive information. So it's basically, the diagnosis is not a label. It's not a characteristic. It's a way to understand your child. So is
It
that
is.
what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it really is. It's like, okay, with a diagnosis, that opens the lock to all these resources that are available for your child in the schools, in a Medicaid waiver, and you can't get into special education services. You cannot get the Medicaid waiver without a diagnosis. Okay, and so we're not going to choose to look at it as a label. We're looking at it as, okay, so autism is basically a set of symptoms, and my kid needs a little extra help in certain areas. And with this diagnosis, now he can get an individualized education plan. Now he can get Medicaid services for free that he needs to help him really grow into his future. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's because I feel like, when trying to decide how to phrase it, but I mean, there are some parents who, that they're ready to go all in for the child, and then there's those who, quote unquote, want a normal child.
Sure.
Um, so what do you say to those parents that are frustrated about, this new reality about their child, and they want a normal child?
Well, it's hard. It's hard. And when you, as a parent, receive a diagnosis of autism or anything else, it's just something you really have to get used to over time. And just fighting it and really not liking it, they don't move the ball forward. And it's okay to struggle and to be upset, to grieve, to be sad that your child has autism or something else. It's okay. It's okay. You're not going to feel this way forever. And then you're going to move forward and say, hey, what's best for my kid here? What can I do to really help my kid right now? Okay. And it's okay to struggle. It's okay. So, struggle a little bit, get some counseling or have a good friend to talk to, um, whatever it takes. And then try to figure out, well, what can I do for my kid where he is now to get him to move forward and to keep him moving forward into better things? Because your child's going to grow. Your child's going to grow so much. In special ed, I think maybe it gets a bad name, but we're there kind of just as a support. We're there to go and to look at each child and say, how do we need to support this child so they can really learn the best, whatever that may be. Okay. And we don't do things for kids that they can do for themselves ever. That's not good for kids. It's not good for anybody. So, special education services it's just there to provide help so the kid can learn to their best performance and be their best. Okay. Um, I didn't really say that very well, but um, you know, I think parents just have to start with the emotions that they have. Start where they are. You wanted your kid to not have autism. Okay, that's a fair feeling. It really is. And then you get better. You kind of get past that. We can't stay mad at it forever. We have to start the acceptance process somewhere in there, and then really become an advocate for the child. How can I get the very best services that are out there for my kid so he or she can be the best that they can possibly be?
Awesome, awesome. That is absolutely great advice. And it's important for parents to, to not look at a diagnosis as a death sentence, but
Mm-mm.
to look at it as, embracing a new reality.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and there's all these resources out there to help you get through it. And there's, like you said, there's the speech therapy, there's the occupational therapy. um I think they're covered by insurance.
Well,
Are
I
they?
it's that's why I want people to get on the list to get a Medicaid waiver as soon as they can get one, because when that happens, they tend to get, and I'm not going to say it's all inclusive, everybody gets the same thing. I'm not going to say that, but most people are going to get a lot of things, a lot of those therapies, occupational, physical, speech, the respite. A lot of parents under an autism waiver are going to get a lot of those resources for free. Okay. And I can't say enough to get on the waiting list for that today. Get on it today because of how long there's so many people that have to apply for it. Okay. And free is good. I want you to get the free resources that are out there for your child.
Absolutely. We definitely want parents to take advantage of those free resources.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say that it's important for parents to find a community.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think like, while social media can be the devil sometimes, but it can also be an angel in that you can,
agreed.
yeah, you connect with other parents, like-minded parents who also have children with autism, and you can ask questions, get answers, or you can complain, whatever you want to do.
Right.
And autism is is very popular I think, when it comes to the learning disorders in terms of what's out there. So definitely, I would even say to find a community. So, get on social media. Facebook, I think is the better of the others. Um, get on social media, connect with parents, especially in your local area, and find ones, who have children with autism, or even at school, buddy up with other moms and dads who may be going through the same thing, and
Mm-hmm.
so you don't we don't want you to feel alone in this process. We
Mm-hmm.
want you to connect with other people that are going through the same thing that you're going through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One of the reasons I actually started this blog is I don't have a child with autism, okay? But my third child was born very, very sick. And then I had another child. And so for 4 years, he was sick in the hospital like once a month. And no one knew why. Absolutely no one knew why. So fast forward 4 years, and he was finally diagnosed by a specialist with a life threatening illness. Nobody's ever heard of it. He's doing fine now, by the way. And the experience of going through that with my child, of not having him diagnosed, and when he was diagnosed, nobody even knew what it was. There's no support. And just the feeling, the loneliness and the sadness of not being able to help my own child was horrible for me. And so I took that piece along with my education, working with kids with special needs, and I put it together and said, there are so many kids that are diagnosed on the autism spectrum. What must it feel like to not have something available to you to know exactly where to go and what to do? How hard must that be? Because I do understand that part of it, of just not having resources readily available to me. And I didn't want other parents to feel that way. And I feel like it's so needed to just have really easy access to autism resources.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we are going to wind down now. So, Betsy, do you have any final words of wisdom, any final advice that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Um, I would like to say, um, always just be your child's best advocate. And I think you already are. My guess is you already are because, special needs parents, they love their kids pretty hard. We do, for sure. And always be an advocate for your child and don't give in to the roadblocks. So if you run into a roadblock, is what I'm going to tell you is if you run into a roadblock in the schools or in healthcare, and I can tell you from working in both fields, you can run into roadblocks pretty easily. Keep going. Go around them, go over them, go through them, and get your child what they need. And if you can't do it alone, get somebody to help you because your child has so many rights and they have a right to the best healthcare and the best education. And if somebody tells you no, don't accept it. You don't have to accept it. So be your child's best advocate and go get them what they need, no matter what roadblocks get thrown up in your way.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So thank you so much, Betsy. I'm
Oh,
gonna
thank you.
I'm gonna put up your banner now. All right. So, you guys, if you want to reach out to Betsy, you may, also know her as Elizabeth. She is all over that social media. She is on Twitter and Instagram. She's on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Pinterest. She's everywhere. So definitely give her a follow wherever you are. And if you would like to learn more about her services, her website is theautismdailybrew.com. And Betsy, if you wouldn't mind talking about your business a little bit.
Well, my business on the Autism Daily Brew is very specifically to help parents with a child with a brand new autism diagnosis.
Hmm.
I want to help you not be confused because I feel like that could be a very confusing time of what do I do now? Oh my gosh, what do I do now? So I want to try to take some of the overwhelm away, help you build a foundation, and get yourself and your child off to a really great start because it's so positive. There's so much help and there's so many things available to you. So, and sometimes we don't even know using the internet, like we don't know things are available unless we stumble upon them sometimes.
Hmm.
So, I want to help you make a great foundation for your child, a great start for your child.
Awesome. And you provide one-on-one services, group services?
I do. I meet with parents one on one, and I have some products that we've made to make things easier or better or clearer for parents as they go along. Um, and if we have special requests, we meet those too.
All right. And I'm assuming all of your services are virtual. I don't know if you do anything in
They
person.
are.
They're all virtual. All right. All right, so you heard it. You heard it, guys. So if you want to take advantage of the services, if you looking for one-on-one consultation, if you have a newly diagnosed child and you just need to navigate the chaos of it, first,
Mhm.
take a breath, right? And then take a
It's
step
okay.
forward. Yes, it's going to be okay. Take a step forward. But there's nothing wrong with a little bit of help. So if you need help navigating this whole new world, definitely reach out to Betsy. Her information is scrolling below. You can go to her website and she will give you whatever it is that you need. All right. So, Betsy, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
All right. I'm going to place you backstage now. And it is just you and me, guys. So let me get my banner. Do. Alrighty. And we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wherever you are watching this episode right now, please check out our social media for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us and stay in touch. So if you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, maybe Instagram later down the road, wherever you are watching this episode, please press that button. So, whatever button it is, press it. Press it and stay in touch with us. And while you're doing that, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below. It helps our algorithm. Wink. And as a reminder, we are a step ahead tutoring services. So if you are interested in our workshops, our services, if you are looking for tutoring for your child, or maybe you just want a friendly ear to listen to, definitely hit us up. Our website is www.astepAheadTutoringServices.com. And I also encourage you to join our email list and our texting list, right? Definitely stay in touch with us there as well. The information is scrolling below at your screen. And if you so happen to be watching this on YouTube, it is also provided to you in the description. All right, I'm going to take off my banner and I'm going to play you this last message before we close today.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we have reached the end. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please stay tuned for the next episode. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you again, and signing off.